What is going on, guys? It's your boy Lando from the Snap, joined as always by my esteemed co-host Mac. Hope everyone enjoyed trade deadline week. We're here as always answering every single question you have. So not a ton of you in here yet, but so that's what gives Mac and I some time to discuss some trades, some counters, what moves he made at the deadline. I know Mac's been active on the waiver wire, but first, or a trade market, I mean. But first, how you doing, Mac?
I'm good, man. Yeah. Technical difficulties. It's the worst.
Yeah,
It's awful when you test things and they're good and then they don't quite play out the way that you wanted. But it's all
I
good.
know.
We're here. We're grinding. I made some trades this week that I'm excited for and a little bit nervous about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I'm trying to stay active, trying to make moves.
That's it. That's it. I'm wheeling and dealing right now. I got trades going here and there. I just got a counter.
What are
Brian
you, who
Brian
you trying to
Brian
get? Who you trying to pick up?
Brian Robinson is a guy that
That running back, Brian Robinson.
I looked at the bottom of the league and opened his team name, and I've got Tajay Spears in there because I got Bijan on by this week, and it's like, man, oh man.
You.
So he wants a 5th round pick for Brian Robinson and Drake London. So it's not bad.
It's not bad.
Maybe.
As you know, I traded away Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase in a dynasty league. Picked up Pat Mahomes, Devon Achane, and Jackson Smith.
Yeah. We should talk about that. The fallout of Jamar Chase. I already had comments on our YouTube videos saying you need to do a what to do with Jamar Chase video next week. And
do you though?
It's tough because trade deadline is likely over and past for people.
Right.
So if you still have Jamar Chase on your team and you didn't trade him away, obviously because you played him on Thursday night, and some league formats don't allow you to trade a player after they've been played. You likely have to start Jamar Chase week in, week out, regardless who's at quarterback for the Bengals. It's a tough one. So what's your perspective? I mean, obviously you think his ceiling is limited now with the backup, but for people with Jamar that are freaking out, making a championship run, what's your kind of analysis on Jamar and, the Bengals as a whole, T. Higgins when he's back, etc.?
I mean, total points, he's wide receiver 6 right now. On a per game basis, he'll probably be a little bit down. He's had a couple down weeks, but then, 44.5 against Arizona. It's like he just gives you that ceiling. And yeah, it probably diminishes without Burrow, but you got to think that, Jake Browning didn't look terrible by any means. He just wasn't able to win the game against probably the best team in the AFC right now. So I think limited sample size, we're probably okay with Jamar Chase, but like you're going to be hard pressed to do better than Jamar Chase, even though they have a tough schedule to finish. We'll see how the matchup goes with Pittsburgh next week. They play them twice, week 12, week 16. KC in championship week if you make it there, but Jacksonville, Indy, Minnesota, and then 13, 14, 15 stretch. That's not the end of the world. So I'm good with Jamar Chase. I traded him away because I need a quarterback. So I'm still quite bullish on him, but if your trade deadline is next week and someone freaks out, I would trade for him for sure.
That was going to be my next question. Is he a target because you can buy him low at this point?
Yeah.
100%. I think that's a nice strategy. It's hard to get elite wide receivers. I tried hard to get an elite wide receiver. Man, so in one of my big 16-team leagues, the trade deadline was last night. Ooh. I think that's so silly. I feel like we should be able to wheel and deal this morning. Like half the league, they just don't even look. They look at their lineup and now they're starting their players. And I wish we still had a couple hours to, or at least an hour to wheel and deal some trades,
Well, my rule, as you know, as commissioner, is always you have up until the ball is in the air.
Yeah.
And I always say, like, can you please do me a service of, if you have a trade that's going to come down to the last minutes before kickoff, let me know so I can be there to push your trade through. But I say, 12:45 for a 1 o'clock game is appreciated. So I can see it, push it through, and you can set your lineup. Don't put it through at like 12:58 and expect me to be
Be on the ball.
So
Because we're live right now. Come on, at least give us some time here. They must know we're
I do have my
tied up.
sleeper open, ready to push through some trades, but yeah. No, what did you think of the move that I made in the redraft league that we just did on a whim? Chris Olave and Dalton Kincaid going away for Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, trading for Justin Jefferson is a savvy move. I think a lot of people are fed up with him and his injury, and now with Dobbs, there's question marks of how good and or efficient he's going to be.
Sure.
I think it's a great trade for us. He's similar to Jamar Chase. I mean, elite talent. Chris Olave has not been what we hoped he would be. Like I was pretty bullish on Chris Olave, and I wasn't when he came out of college. I didn't think he was going to be as good as his kind of metrics were his first year, but I think it's a savvy move. It's tough because a lot of our listeners and people in here today just play straight redraft and with no keepers, no nothing. So that's I like that move for a championship run. Those are the kind of moves that you got to make. So give the person that's kind of vying for a playoff spot two quality pieces, and for you that is set at the playoff spot, you get an elite piece in Justin Jefferson. So he is out this week. I do want to welcome in everyone. I see David in here, Wolfish, maybe some names I don't often see. So I appreciate y'all coming in. We do answer every single question. We say it every single time. So we do appreciate the support every single week for the newcomers, or the old guys that we've seen, like Eric Zuber coming in here. I appreciate y'all coming in every single week. If you do want to support the channel, we have a membership, and really all that is just a monthly fee just to support us. If you do want your question answered right away, there's a super chat function. So we'll go to your question right away if that is the case. But let's get to some questions, and then when there's a lull, we'll get into some news and notes, Mac.
Okay, easy. Start, sit, and standard scoring, 40-yard bonus. Lockett, Jaden Reed, Brandon Cooks. Did you see that circulating social media that Jaden Reed is outperforming Jackson Smith and Jigba?
Oh, no, I did not see
more
that.
yards, more receptions, double the touchdowns.
Wow, that's impressive. He seems to be he is the number one target in Green Bay. Like Romeo Dobbs just ain't it. Christian Watson is a massive disappointment. Based on what we thought he was going to be. He can't stay healthy. When he is healthy, he's just you have to rely on a 1-yard touchdown, it feels like, or a 40, 50-yard touchdown, but he doesn't seem to come up with those as often as we would like. But for this question, I think you got to go with Tyler Lockett easy. He doesn't give you that 40-yard, bonus. Really, he's not that deep threat guy, so his ceiling is limited. In a non-PPR league, you're hoping for a touchdown, and I think that's still the best chance of getting that. Do you just want to go with Jaden Reed, Mac?
No, I'll go with Lockett.
Yeah.
Yep. Just because of the big play.
There was questions about Lockett coming into this game. He was questionable, but I believe he's active, and he should be a very solid start.
Kyler, Josh Dobbs, Justin Fields this week in a 6-point passing TD league. Okay. Fields, I like the game for fantasy purposes. I don't know if I love it as much for Justin Fields, although it is a nice little dome situation, so that's always favorable. Josh Dobbs is very interesting. They play Denver tonight, so you're going to have to wait out Fields and Kyler. Mentally, that might be a tough one to stomach. I think Kyler's probably in the best spot for me personally. I would go Kyler first, Fields second, Dobbs third.
My order is the exact same. It'd be funny in leagues, Mac, when rushing QB in previous years, it hasn't really been an issue this year. It's kind of broken where you get 6 points per rushing, but 4 points per passing. It'd be funny to flip that in Nerf if you get a rushing quarterback and get in there, but only for quarterbacks, give them a 4 point per touchdown.
I would love to see that sort of balance exist potentially, but I figured Sleeper would have come out with it by now, but they haven't.
Yeah.
But yeah, to
Yeah.
nerf slightly those quarterbacks, that rush would be sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
Romeo Dobbs or Jahan Dotson for a friend?
Oh man, Jahan, what a guy. Like it feels like I think you have to go with Dotson.
I think so too.
Like I know he goosed you, he hurt you, and it's bad, but you can't
They play
let
the
that.
Giants, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you should be. You should go with Dotson. You can't start a Packer.
Or would you play Khalil Herbert on the comeback?
What do you think the split is going to be for Herbert and Deonta Foreman and I think and Roshan? I think I still go Dotson there, but what do you think is going to be the backfield for the Bears?
It's going to be tight.
Yeah.
I don't know if it really matters against Detroit, but
we got 16 people watching. Thanks for coming in. As a reminder, we do answer every single question. Toss a like on this video. We very much appreciate the support. Love to have Mackie back here helping us out,
sure.
being my co-host.
Let's go. Half point. Sit one between Achane, Terry McLaurin, Devin Singletary. Thanks in advance. Trevor, it's a tough one, man. Singletary got 30 carries last week. Looked great for the first time as a fantasy option, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do we think that can exist again today? Tough one. Should be a competitive game in Houston. I'm very intrigued by the upside of Achane against a pretty poor Las Vegas team who will probably struggle to move the ball or keep up for that sense. It all depends on how much work they're going to give Achane on his comeback, though. And I did see this week that there was a reporter that asked Mike McDaniel, it was like, with AJ coming back, how much do you expect for him to be worked in? And he was like, bro, how much money do you have in fantasy football?
For real, man.
So I don't know. I think I would go with Achane for the upside and just play McLaurin, who's in a great matchup against the Giants. But the Cardinals and the Texans should be a very solid game for fantasy. I think there's going to be a decent amount of scoring. So if you think that Singletary can run it back and chase the volume, I think it's not a bad play. I think I like the prospects of the efficiency on Achane, and
yeah, I think it's
unbelievable with the ball.
Trevor, I think it does matter to me who you're playing. If you're projected to win or lose, if you're playing against like the number one team and they've got a Tyreek Hill on their team, and you need that high upside play, you roll with Achane. Use that 50-point performance. That very few players actually have that kind of ceiling. We know Terry McLaurin does not. We know that Singletary does not. But
Sure.
But Achane absolutely does. But his first game back, there's some risk level involved. It's of course there's a low floor for a guy like this. Maybe just not really worked in that much. But I do. I can't wait to watch Achane play. I just cannot wait. I have him in a couple leagues. I'm starting him in a couple. We got a wives league. I threw him in the lineup because why the heck not? But
shout out to Jason Moore, fantasy footballers. Did you see his little segment this week on Achane or?
He's all in, fully in.
Like Achane to this point, who hasn't played since week 4, has more fantasy points than names that you would not care to consider. It actually baffling. And I wish I could remember most of them off the top of my head, but he's still very, very high in total points, and he's only played 4 games. So
I know you're right. It's crazy. Yeah, sorry. I did see that segment, but
wild segment.
Crazy, like Tony Pollard, and
yep,
he's one of those guys.
Derrick Henry was the name. Like Derrick Henry has less points. He's played every single game with a bye week over week 7, and has less points than Devon Achane in 4. It's like if Devon Achane's healthy, like you just play him. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. He's a very exciting player. Very, very excited.
Let's go with Stroh here. Flex Marquise Brown. Is that Nico Collins? I didn't know if he was in or out today. And then Raheem Mostert, full PPR. I saw Noah Brown was out.
Noah Brown is out, so I think that does give a boost to Nico Collins. But I know Marquise Brown was disappointing in Kyler's first week back, but I do think they get up back on the same page. Marquise was very good last year when Kyler was in, and Mostert, if he feels like he should be a start. I know everyone's worried about Achane. If you didn't have that as good of options, I think you can still start Mostert in most matchups, but I think I like going to one of the wide receivers, Mac, in full PPR leagues.
Yeah, the full PPR makes it really close or closer. I can't see a world where Achane just comes back to the lineup and dominates the carries. Like it's going to be a timeshare, and I think it'll be in Raheem Mostert's favor. To me, the question is who gets into the end zone, and it's been very very split between the two of them. On the year, Mostert has 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on the ground, 2 through the air, 13 total touchdowns. I think in a game where they're probably going to score and be in the red zone, 10 zone a ton, I think I like the touchdown upside for Mostert. It all depends if you think the volume will be there for Nico Collins, who's been very hit or miss, and on the other side of the ball, Marquise. So I think I still go with Mostert, but if I had to pick between Brown and Collins, I would probably go Brown.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it is tough, and if Marquise Brown kind of duds you again today, I think that's you just cut bait and sit him down
Sure.
and chop him if your deadline's not over. But I would give him another chance for sure.
Yep. Easy, fix my flex, projected to win, Foreman or Jameson Williams. I don't think you can play Jameson Williams, if I'm being honest with you. There's nothing on his resume that states that he is a worthy fantasy option.
I agree. I heard reporting out of Detroit that Jameson's finally starting to feel part of the team, and he blocked for that big run by David Montgomery. And the Detroit organization says if you don't block, you're not playing, basically. So he's finally getting out there and blocking. He's finally, being a legit piece. That doesn't help his fantasy output, but I think there's upside for Jameson. This comes back to this backfield in Chicago. It's not good now with Herbert back in. You have to rely on a touchdown. So I don't like these options easy. I think I just go with a running back and hope that he still has a good amount of target share. And yeah, I think Mac's right. It's hard to start Jameson Williams.
There's no chance you can start him. Zero.
Yeah. I have to in a couple like dynasty matchups, but
Wolfish T, great handle. Tough one here. You got Garrett Wilson going up against the Bills, and you got Tank Dell going up against the Arizona Cardinals. Lots of questions so far around the Texans and the Cardinals, but Garrett Wilson in a tough spot. He had a great start to last week's game. I think he had like 50 yards in the opening quarter, kind of slowed down a little bit. But, do you have the faith that Garrett Wilson will be able to beat the Bills? Or do you think Tank Dell is just too good of an option this week against a poor secondary?
I kind of want to go Tank Dell.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
It's gross. I never thought I would be this at this point right now, but Tank looks absolutely legit. He has a way better quarterback.
For sure. And I think it comes down to CJ Stroud versus Zach Wilson. For me, the second piece here is I think Tank Dell's the number one look in this passing offense.
I agree.
They brought in Noah Brown from Dallas. He filled the Nico Collins role when Nico was down for a couple weeks there and had 2 monstrous games, but Noah Brown is out and they were featuring him downfield. And now, who's that guy? Well, it's Dell and Collins. They both send them deep. So Tank Dell has made the most of some big plays this year. And I see this game lending itself to that much, much more than what could be a very stale and stagnant defensive battle in Buffalo and New York.
Yeah.
The the Bills are going to play down to the level of the Jets. You know that they are.
Always. And in a full PPR league, Garrett Wilson still has value because he gets 9 to 10 targets a game still, but they do not score in the red zone.
We got a super chat here from Green Bay Packer 45. I hope that's Green Bay Packers. Go Packers. Let's go. Shameless plug. Tough one here. Godwin or McBride in a full PPR. We got more questions surrounding those Cardinals and Texans. What do you like? Full PPR for me makes it closer.
I just bought Brian Robinson.
Oh,
What's this world coming to?
Congratulations. Okay, so Godwin plays a very tough 49ers team who looks to be back on track. And then we've got Trey McBride, who seems to flip-flop between dominance and disappearing acts, going up against Houston today. So you got to think that Trey McBride's probably a top 5 tight end option this week. Where does Chris Godwin fall for you in terms of wide receiver options in a poor matchup, but probably still gets some volume?
Godwin, I'm curious to know what your thoughts on Godwin are, because you've always been a huge believer of Chris Godwin, but he's been very disappointing this year. It's been the Mike Evans show week in and week out. I don't know if it's Godwin's fault per se. It's just whatever Baker Mayfield, though he looks good, isn't looking. It's not down the field. His getting short, kind of like a little bit like Tom Brady, honestly. Like it's short to the line of scrimmage. Like it's full PPR, which helps. I think the upside actually is with McBride between the two. Like big long plays, stretch plays, touchdowns with Kyler. Kyler seems to love him. Trey McBride looks legit. Like I don't know if he gets as many targets as Chris Godwin in this matchup, but I do think he gets more yards and probably gets in the end zone. It's just hard to trust tight ends.
The biggest thing I've noticed this year since last year with Chris Godwin is, he's gone from 26 to 27. The age difference is negligible, especially for a wide receiver. We're not talking running backs here. We're talking wideouts who play until their elite status, until their early 30s. For me, I'm looking back. It's like Chris Godwin used to be a 90+% snap guy. This year, he's floating in the mid 70s to low 80s. He's down 10+% on his total snaps. So he's just on the field less right now for whatever reason that is, whether they're going to the run more, they're, featuring a 2 wide receiver set, or they're getting K-Dot involved more. I don't really know what the reasoning is there for that, but double-digit target games are also a thing of the past for Chris Godwin. He only has 2 so far this year, whereas last year it was basically a foregone conclusion that each and every week he was going to get at least 8 to 9 targets. Looking back through his game log, he had 2 games last year under 8 targets. So, the volume was there for Chris Godwin. It's just not this year. We're relying on efficiency, and they just don't have it. So, I'm kind of with you. I think in a full PPR, the volume's going to go to McBride, and McBride's had 2 monster games in the last 3 weeks, tight end 2, tight end 3 in the last 3 weeks on 2 of those finishes. So I think you just got to roll with him, and it kind of sucks, but it is what it is.
Absolutely. Welcome into all the new listeners here watching in Buckstar TV. John Fenton, Santana. We will get your questions very soon. Toss a like on the video. If you don't want to wait around, do what JBP just did and toss us a super chat. But either way, thanks for the support, everyone.
Need help with a PPR decision? It's a 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, and a flex. Options are Metcalf, Deontay Johnson, Derrick Henry, Alexander Madison, Devon Achane. Also start between Tua and Kyler. Okay, so let's just go with the quarterback first. I think this one's easy. I'm going to go Tua.
Yeah, I think Tua is the correct play for sure.
So we have to start 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, and a flex. I think out of the options we show here, I'm intrigued by Deontay Johnson in a full PPR, just with the volume he's been getting. Derrick Henry does own the Jacksonville Jaguars, so we can always sort of lean on that. I think Madison's out. I would play Achane over him. So for me, I think DK is a must play, even though he's been bad. And then I'm like, what do you do? I think DK's a play. I think Achane's a play. Then what do you do between Derrick Henry and Deontay Johnson?
I go Derrick Henry over Deontay. I know Derrick Henry's been bad too, but I do think he does get back on track. He's a really good buy low candidate for a playoff run. The schedule's good for the Titans, and I think this is going to be just Derrick Henry's last hurrah. if so, I think I go Derrick Henry.
So DK Metcalf, Derrick Henry, and Devon Achane.
That's where I'd go.
Along with starting Tua.
Yep.
Let's go. Nishant, half PPR, Marquise, Nico, Singletary, or Pacheco for the flex. I think I'm with Singletary in that group.
What has this world come to?
Is that bad to say?
Yeah, it feels terrible.
It does.
It feels terrible. I felt terrible last week. I was talking to a guy who had Singletary starting, and I'm like, guy, you don't want Singletary to start. You want Rachaad White to start for your team. We did a trade. He lost the matchup because he started White over Singletary, and it's just you hate to see it. But I agree. I think in Singletary getting that workload is great. Really great matchup. I would start Singletary in the flex here.
Yeah, I think that's the play. PPR, sorry, half PPR, Christian Kirk or Adam Thielen.
Cowboys defense is very good. I feel bad for anyone that has to start any Panthers.
The question is, are you playing Adam Thielen? I think that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think you still can in a lot of leagues, especially in full PPR leagues. If this is half PPR, I think Kirk is the guy for the Jags, and I would still go with Christian Kirk.
If this was a full PPR, I'd be really considering Adam Thielen just for the sheer volume in short area work. But I think when you factor it into half, it lends itself to Christian Kirk. We should see the Jags move the ball pretty well against the Titans, who have struggled defensively this year. And if they get into a negative game script, even better. We know the Panthers are going to be throwing the ball. That's an auto. And there's some chalky matchups this week if you're picking just money line winners. So I like Thielen as a PPR option. I just don't think he keeps up with Christian Kirk this week.
I agree. One thing I will say on behalf of Adam Thielen is that Frank Reich is taking back over play calling. And when he had play calling, Thielen was really, really good. He gave it up. He's been bad. So I don't know how much validity that actually has. I'm still going to go Kirk, but I think there's some upside in Thielen, what we saw early on this season.
Puka Nacua or Trey McBride in a full PPR.
Listen, Mac, I hate going tight end over a wide receiver. I don't want to do it ever, but I'm going Puka. Sorry.
I'm not doing it in this scenario. I think Puka has the chance to be a top 15 wide receiver this week.
For sure.
They've got a good matchup against Seattle. They got Matthew Stafford back. That lends itself to the Nacua and the Cooper Kupp. Oh, it's so big. I mean, who Cooper Kupp became when he got together with Matt Stafford. It's like a situation. Is it the cart or the horse that came first? I don't know. But putting them together has made some fantasy gold. And then you put a guy like Puka, who is a spitting image of Cooper Kupp and how he finds space and works with the ball after the catch. Like, two really solid options for Matt Stafford. So I like the Matt Stafford stream play today if you're down a quarterback. And I love Puka here over Trey McBride.
I forgot to mention, Mac, I was hungover this morning. I was too bold with the bourbons and rums late night. That's always.
I saw the Snapchats last night. I was a little jealous, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was a good time.
A little jealous,
but
yeah, you guys got after it. It was good stuff.
Oh yeah, G said he had the spins. Yeah, I saw that. It wasn't great. It was a tough morning.
You guys stopped tweeting. Didn't know you were on this here. Christian Watson, Jahan Dotson, Robert Woods, full PPR. I don't know, man. Like, ever since Twitter became X, it just hasn't felt the same for me.
And I could just press that button on our StreamYard and just put it to Twitter, but I just haven't. And we're doing all of our work on YouTube. We're not really doing Instagram DMs anymore. We're just on YouTube doing our thing. So I appreciate you found us.
Felt like a lot of work for almost like little to no return. And yeah, it's good to like keep posting stuff, but I also find Twitter is very toxic. People will come back to remind you of things that you said, or screenshot your takes and use them again. It's just like I don't really need that. I don't really need that in my life. I just want to come here, hang out with you, chat football for an hour, and hang out with some of the people that we've got to know over the last couple of years. So
exactly, and check out for sure. I feel that.
Let's get to WB though. Christian Watson, Jahan Dotson, Robert Woods, full PPR. Where are you at?
Dotson.
Yeah, can you play Christian Watson moving forward?
You can drop him, so you don't even have that sensation, that desire to start this upside wide receiver, Christian Watson.
Guy can't stay healthy, and Jordan Love just can't find him in motion. It is what it is. Yeah, I would go with Dotson. Robert Woods, you're depending on just a touchdown. You're hoping for that. I think that's really all his value is. And with Dell and Collins playing, I'd probably just stay away from him.
Yeah, I get the question. He's got Curtis Samuel here, Rondell Moore. I think Rondell Moore is interesting as like a third flex play in a super deep league, but I'm going back to Dotson even after his, 0-point production.
Full PPR flex, Aaron Jones, Puka Nacua, or Javonte Williams.
Ooh, those are some good options, Brandon.
So Aaron Jones has been a little bit disappointing. I would love to see him get the ball a little bit more. We saw Javonte get the absolute feature last week, finally. Really nice to see him just, get the ball. They play Minnesota, which is a great matchup. Aaron Jones plays the Chargers today. It's also a decent matchup, but I think Javonte's in a better spot. So really it comes down to Puka Nacua or Javonte Williams for me. And I think I might lean Javonte in this case. The full PPR makes it closer for sure.
There's that little piece of doubt still in my mind about Puka. It's there. Like he could just be a ghost running routes, and it's the Cooper Cup show, which is very valid. I think in most scenarios we like Puka and we're starting him in leagues, but I don't disagree. Javonte has looked good. It's a good matchup. He gets lots of work. He catches passes. He does it all. So I agree. I'm going Javonte against Minnesota. Their defense has been better, but I still don't buy the Minnesota Vikings.
No. Last 3 games for Javonte Williams, 21, 27, and 15 carries, 4, 3, and 3 receptions. So he's just getting work all over the field. If we look at just total touches, 19, 30, and 25. I just love the volume for him. I think it's just more opportunity. So Puka's going to have like those 9, 10 catch games he was having in the absence of Cooper Cup, and we know that just doesn't exist anymore. It likely doesn't exist. Let's just say that.
I tend to agree.
Josh Allen or Kyler Murray in the full PPR doesn't really matter, but the 6 or 4 point touchdown would really, really matter. How bullish are you on Kyler Murray? How much do you fear the New York Jets defense?
I'm still going to go with Josh Allen. I think you have to. I think they do get back on track. It's been super disappointing. They're going to give it to the Jets. It's going to be a bad time for the New York Jets, I think. And they fired their offensive coordinator. They're in it for real. I think Josh Allen has a great performance. I don't think there's a quarterback out there that you play instead of Josh Allen if you have him.
I'm trying to find this post.
They don't do well. He doesn't typically do well against the Jets. He does not play well against the Jets, but I think this is going to be the exception. And he has a good game.
I'm trying to find this the exact number, but I saw something earlier this week that said the Bills, since the Josh Allen era in Buffalo, the Bills are undefeated when Josh Allen rushes the ball 10 or more times.
Yeah.
He has not rushed the ball more than 10 times this entire year.
Yeah, he needs to get out. He needs to put this team on his back. It seems like their routes are like the offense was bad. They incomplete passes on first, second down, and then you have a long long third down and they can get it somehow. And then, but if they don't have those long deep passes that actually connect, they're stagnant offense. But I think this is going to change. I think this week's going to absolutely change, and it's going to be good for Josh Allen.
I'm going to go with Kyler Murray.
Yeah. I mean,
I think the Jets pose some problems defensively. I think
Houston is just such a good matchup.
Houston is a good matchup. They're not that great through the air, but on the ground, they're a little bit susceptible. I just think, like, Josh Allen has struggled against the Jets, struggled a little bit against the Broncos, Patriots. What did he throw? 3 interceptions against the Jets the first week when they played?
At least 2.
I know that's a long time ago now, but
yeah,
Jets just pose some problems. So I'm
it'd
going
be wild if the Jets and Zach Wilson beat the Bills twice, clean sweep. That'd be crazy.
3 times in 2 seasons.
We do have another super chat from GBP. Not necessary, but I do very much appreciate it. He's got Schultz and McBride in here, full PPR, and I'm going McBride.
What? Okay, so why McBride so fast?
Good question. I just I'm thinking about it.
Well, so we've basically said that Trey McBride is likely a top 5 option.
But Schultz could be too. Yeah.
Dalton Schultz we've seen have tremendous volume. I think what it comes down to in this game is, who do you actually believe is the winner of the game? Because if the Texans are to be believed as the favorite, which I believe as of right now they are the betting favorite, and they're going to feature a running game like they did last week and have success on the ground. If the game script plays out that way, maybe we see more Devin Singletary and less Dalton Schultz. Maybe we see more Trey McBride if the Texans are ahead. It's like when you're looking at maybe like tight end 6 versus tight end 7 on the week, or 5 versus 6, what do you need to pick up on that makes the difference? So if you think that the Texans are going to be ahead most of the game, maybe you do lean on Trey McBride for the passing necessity.
I like that narrative. Absolutely. It's a 5.5 point spread for the Texans, which is larger than I thought. I think the Cardinals cover that, but but it could be good for both, because the Cardinals offense could be better, and they should be better. They should be good. So it might be a good game script for both players, really. So maybe it's a bit of a shootout. So it gets over that 47.5 point over under, which it very well could, with 2 very good quarterbacks, good weapons, good pieces. Defenses aren't that good. So if it is a good game and a good shootout, do you prefer Dalton Schultz? Because of basically, I think we like Stroud as a quarterback passer better than Kyler.
To be honest, we're probably splitting hairs here. I think
back-to-back in rankings.
With a team that leads also comes potentially more red zone exposure. So you talk about tight end upside or touchdown upside for a tight end. Dalton Schultz, we've seen command that. Trey McBride, I think it's a volume play with Trey McBride. If he gets into the end zone, you're even, more thrilled. But I'm going maybe volume and passing volume for Kyler Murray. So I'd probably slightly lean McBride in a vacuum, but it's so close. I think you got 2 good options.
Okay, we have lots of people asking questions. We got to go a little bit rapid fire here. We got 25 people watching. Toss a like on the video. We will get to every single question, so we got to get it going here now.
Okay, let's go. I'll give you this one. Madison, Khalil Herbert, Quentin Johnston, Tyjae Spears. For the flex in a full PPR, pick one.
I think I'm going Spears.
Wilson or Terry? I'm going to go with Terry McLaurin.
So am I.
Happy Sunday from Bucksar. Wide receiver question in a full PPR. Projected to win by 15, so we need some safety. Pick 2 between Dell, Puka, and Waddle. Ooh, 3 really good choices.
I think I still like. I mean, the floor play might be Tank Dell, but I would go Waddle.
Yeah, I would go Waddle and Puka here.
There you go. Oh, pick 2. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, pick 2. Start Ford or White at running back 2. I will go with Rachaad White.
Yeah, I agree.
John coming in, grossest question of the week candidate will be the decider on that. Got to start two between Quentin Johnston, Christian Watson, and Khalil Herbert. Full PPR, not that it matters. This is a candidate for sure. Christian Watson for me is out. Comes down to Quentin Johnston and Khalil Herbert. Who do you like?
I don't like any of them. You're right. I think
I would play Quentin.
I think I go Quentin as well.
Do we know the status of Keenan Allen this week? Is he playing?
Yes, he's playing, but Jalen Guyton is out.
So Mike Williams and Jalen Guyton are out. If anything happens to Josh Palmer, maybe I'll have.
He's on the IR still.
I'm sorry, he's on the IR. Okay, now I have full confidence that maybe, just maybe, Quentin Johnston will get some targets.
Yeah, I think you got to go Quentin. And then so the other one, do you just play Christian Watson or do you just go roll back with Khalil Herbert?
Oh, got to start two.
Yeah, hoping that Herbert gets that workload back. Isn't this the first look for that backfield?
So for me, like Johnston and Watson are very similar plays. You know, you probably need a big play or a touchdown for them to have value. I don't know that I want to roll the dice on that twice. So I'll look to a struggling run game who needs a piece back and just go with the potential upside with the volume. I'll just go with Herbert to try to hedge, you know, taking a shot in the dark twice.
Sounds good. We did get a super chat from Austin. We got Josh Allen or CJ Stroud at quarterback 1. You mentioned your hesitation for Josh Allen. CJ Stroud, the rookie, exciting rookie in a great matchup against the Cardinals. How far are you willing to go for your hate towards Josh Allen?
Oh, it's not hate. And don't get me wrong, he's quarterback 1 on the year for a reason. I just think this week with the New York Jets, the potential struggle for a slow game is there for Josh Allen to continue to make poor reads, throw interceptions. I don't know, man. And then is it in New York or is it in Buffalo?
It's in Buffalo.
So, I mean, it's snowing here at the moment. I'm in Toronto, which is about 2.5 hours from Buffalo. Could be a chilly, gross game. I'm just going to take CJ Stroud in a nice, warm weather environment who's been on fire, you know, I'm sure there's something out there that's in the last 7 weeks, CJ Stroud is quarterback 1. I wouldn't be surprised if that exists.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
I'm going Stroud over Allen.
Good luck, Austin. I don't envy that position, my guys. Sitting a stud is never easy. Bucks are loaded at tight end. He's got Laporta, Kittle, Kincaid. Can't go wrong with any option, but is there a lean from you for one of these tight ends?
Yeah, Kincaid against Jets for the same reason. I think I'd probably just sit down. Kittle's in a really nice spot. I also think Laporta's in a good spot. I'd probably lean Kittle over Laporta. Kittle's been a little bit hotter the last couple weeks, and Laporta's cooled down just a bit from his earlier pace. So I'd probably go Kittle, but between Kittle and Laporta, you probably can't go too wrong.
I agree. We got Stewart coming over from across the seas. He's got Fields back from injury. I've got Kyler, Levis, Fields available at quarterback. Is Murray the choice? Murray is the choice. Would you add, though? You should add Justin Fields. I think it's good to have a couple of options.
I have Kyler, Levis, and Fields available. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Here's the thing. At this point in time, your trade deadline is likely going to pass in the next 10 minutes or so for the 1:00 games. You don't have the ability to trade if anything happens. So, if you have Kyler and, he has re-injury on that knee, you don't have a better option. But if you have Kyler Murray just sitting around, who is essentially the same thing as if you have Justin Fields sitting around, which is the same thing as Kyler Murray, why not have multiple great options that you can play matchups against each other? And is there still a bye week situation there?
Yeah,
Kyler Murray has a week 14 bye. So
yeah, and Fields is 13. So it'd be nice to have both. I would drop Levis though. I would
drop Levis. Yeah,
Colt Kyler and Kyler, or Fields and Kyler. Yeah. All right, 9 more minutes. Let's get to these. We got to go rapid fire.
Who to flex? Non-PPR, DJ Moore, Puka, Nakua, Aaron Jones.
I'm going Puka.
I agree. Oh, DJ Moore, not Deontay. So,
yeah, Henry.
Yep, agree. Half PPR, Gabe Davis, Zay Jones, or Rico Dowdle. I saw Rico Dowdle was banged up.
So
I don't know if he plays today. I will take Gabe Davis.
Yeah, down because of the injury. Go with a high upside play, and that is Gabe Davis.
Full PPR, Mostert or Pacheco. I will go with Mostert.
Yep, sure.
2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Javonte Williams, Jerome Ford, Devin Singletary, Derrick Henry, Dell, DJ Moore, and DK Metcalf.
The ultimate recency over stud with those.
Yeah. All right. Javonte Williams and Derrick Henry are in for me at running back.
Agreed.
I will go with DK Metcalf and Tank Dell.
Love it. And a flex.
And then it comes down to DJ Moore, Devin Singletary for me for the flex. I'll probably go Singletary for the volume.
Yeah, volume play. Sit down, DJ Moore. You hate to do that, but you got to.
Do I start Kittle, Pacheco, Amari, Cooper, Tyler Lockett in the flex to PPR? I'm already starting Schultz at tight end.
I'll probably go Lockett.
I think I would start Kittle at the tight end spot, and then I would play. I'd probably play Cooper.
Even with a new quarterback. New quarterback in Cleveland. They got that guy, I forget his name, Donovan. No. Anyways.
DTR.
Yeah.
I think I put Kittle in instead of Schultz, and then I play either Cooper or Lockett. I think that's where your most upside is.
I'm fine with Schultz and Lockett, but Kittle's a tough one.
Trade question: 10-team PPR. Half PPR. Lost Andrews 6-4. Want to trade for Laporta, owned by the 3-7 Kelsey owner. He wants Purdy. I have Kyler. He has a week 14 bye. Thoughts?
Yeah, I like trading away Purdy. I don't mind it.
Yeah, and I think that you can just stream in a 10-team league. I think you'll be able to pick up, even like a Jordan Love, for example, for a week. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, obviously, if you could get Kelsey somehow, that would be even better for sure, Claire. But I mean, I'm happy to settle for Laporta and getting Purdy off your team. I think Purdy's going to be good with Debo back, but good trade, Claire.
Okay, we got to make a last-minute push here to get everything in. Yeah. Allen or Tua?
Allen.
Tua for me. Pollard or Achane?
Achane. Pollard. Yeah, go Achane.
I'll go Achane as well.
Sure.
Last-minute SOS. Do I risk it and wait for Lockett to clear or roll with Hollywood Brown? I'm playing Lockett.
Yeah, I'll go Lockett as well. I think he's going to be fine.
Prescott over Hurts.
No, I would still go Jalen Hurts.
That one's closer than I'd like to admit.
I know.
Pick running back 2 and 2 flexes, so 3 from this group. Mostert, Javonte, Breece, Thielen, Evans, Puka.
Javonte and Breece.
Breece is in.
And Puka? Mike Evans.
Okay, Puka or Evans is a close one.
Yeah.
Don't know why I didn't space them out. I don't know either, but it's okay. We got through it. Mike Evans, Devontae Smith, Christian Kirk. Who should I bench? I think you bench Christian Kirk.
Yeah, I would agree.
Last one here, Eli. Do I start Kittle, Pacheco, Amari Cooper, or Tyler Lockett in the flex? I'm already starting. Oh, we got that one.
We got this one already. Eli?
Sit Schultz, play Kittle, and then choose between Cooper and Lockett would be my play.
Oh, more trades going on. What is going on here? I love the trade deadline. Thanks for everyone coming in. We got every question answered. You love to see it. Appreciate y'all coming in. 5 minutes till kickoff. Mac, any personal questions you got? Any trades going on for you?
No, I have just got to. I'm gonna have to end this early. I gotta process some trades. I need my phone.
All right, sounds good, guys. Good luck, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.